Speak harmony where knowledge meets community.
Wow. Okay. Welcome in. It's another day at Speak Harmony at APAP Media right here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. We want to say welcome to everyone, as usual, every Tuesday. And we want to thank our sponsor, APAP Media. That's APAP Media. You could reach them at APAP at info@apapmedia.com. Listen, we're getting ready to rock and roll because we've got a guest that we want to just jump into. So Sharon, what time of day is it? What day of the week is it? What's special about the day?
All right, it is National Airplane Day, and I made my airplane. Woo! Okay. All right, and so many believe the U.S. Many believe that airplanes were originated back in 2000 in China, 2,000 years ago. I'm sorry.
Okay.
2,000. She looks at me like, what?
What?
2,000 years ago. But the earliest date of the modern paper plane was in 1909. And so, it's been fun. The largest paper aircraft was by students and employees from Germany.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And they did that in 2013, so not too long ago.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
How large were they, though? What size are we talking about?
We're talking about almost the wingspan is almost 6 feet.
Paper plates.
Paper. All right, we made ours. We made our paper plane. Can yours glide? Whee!
Mine took a nosedive.
And we have to big up Guyana because it's their Independence Day. And did you know that it's the only English-speaking country in South America?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's juxtaposed between Venezuela and Suriname. Yeah, and the Dutch are the ones that originally established that colony, so they say. And then the British brought in indentured laborers predominantly from India. And so that's where they got a lot of their Indian heritage as well. Mm-hmm. So that is it, folks. That is our national days.
Wow. Man. So we do not want to bore you at all because guess what? We've got a guest that's coming up, Sharon. And when I tell you, this young man is amazing. He lives pretty south of us. You know, he lives in Macon, a city called Macon here, in Georgia. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Eric T. McDonald, he is an educator, and that he is. Mm-hmm. He's a mentor of Jamaican heritage. Mm-hmm. He blends discipline, leadership, and service to shape young people's minds. So some of the key ideas we would say: discipline determines destiny. Character development beyond classroom coaching. I mean, this gentleman has been a mentor. Matter of fact, just recently we were at an event, and a very powerful young man, I might say, in our community. We were talking, and this young man's aunt just walked over and spoke to the young man of influence and said to him, "Oh, you went to Monroe College? My nephew went there." And so I guess a conversation ensued, and he says, "Well, who's your nephew?" And she proudly told him who her nephew was. Mm-hmm. So I am not going to bore the folks anymore because this young man was a valedictorian, Sharon.
Whoa. All right,
he
smarty.
Was smart. And I was so proud to have met him in person. Big up to you, Mr. Eric McDonald. When I tell you Tunde Sam, he sung your praises. He says, "Oh yeah, that was my teacher and my mentor."
Oh, very nice.
And I'm saying, how could you be so young and him so young? How could he be your teacher? We started teaching him what, 20 or 12? So we're not going to make you blush anymore, Eric. Welcome to Speak Harmony. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good evening, and thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
We are doing good. It's raining, and it's been raining for the last couple of days, and it says it's going to rain for the next 5 days, but we are bringing the sunshine in here, and so are you with that beautiful yellow sweater.
Of
So, Eric, may I call you Eric?
That's fine. That is.
So, Eric, you were a valedictorian of Monroe College. What sacrifices did you make? What did sacrifices happen behind the scene that people may not know? What it takes to be a valedictorian?
So, to tell that story, I have to tell the story of how I went to Monroe. I'm
Okay.
from St.
Tell
Thomas.
us.
Okay.
I'm from
St.
St.
Thomas.
Thomas. That's on, yes.
Don't let
Yalas.
Mr. P hear you. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, we come from Yalas, to be exact. So I went to Martin Day Prep School. And when it was time for GSAT, I wanted to go to Monroe because I saw them on National Schools Debate, and I loved the suit, the navy blue and gold tie and the whole attire, and they seemed very intelligent. So I wanted to go. My mother is like, she not send her picnic go so far. Boarding school, it was a no. So I
Wow.
did 2 years in grade six because the first year my mom think I was too young, so she said you have to do 2 years. So for the whole year I kept on singing, I'm going to Monroe, going to Monroe. She wanted me to go to Woolman's. So because I knew this, I went home and I said, teacher said for write in a pencil. So she wrote on the paper, we had three choices there. She wrote Woolman's, Arden, and Monroe. I went on the bus, I took the eraser, and I swapped Monroe and Woolman's. So when I went to graduation here, I know my name was called last that year, and it was announced I passed on Monroe. She was happy, but she kept asking in the car, like, how is it possible that you passed for your third
Monroe.
choice? Yeah, so as a woman stand that high, that's what she was saying. And she would never let it go. Till I finally told her what happened. And thank God for daddy. Daddy said, no, allow him. Choose your own destiny, big man. That was his word.
Jeez. Wow.
And that's how with the modern. I think that choice that I have not regretted. I mean, I've lived to hear her say that's the best choice I made in my life.
Oh,
To go to
wow.
modern. That time there were no cell phones and so on. Boarding school from age 11, 12.
Wow.
I was the only boy from St. Thomas at Monroe at the time. The only one. Yeah. And I'm happy for it because it made me a better person. It taught you discipline. It ate by the bell. Your life was dictated by time. If you're not on time, you won't eat. If you're not on time, you won't get enough sleep. You have to be accountable. You have to be responsible. When my father gave him money, it was for 3 weeks. I had to manage it because I couldn't call. Some auntie was next door. Everybody was in the east. So you had to figure things out for yourself. I became very involved in school life. I was very
Well, I'm
involved
going
at
to
Monroe.
stop you there
Very,
because,
very.
Eric, if I could stop you, because you said the East. And for people who don't know Jamaica, or those who know Jamaica, but they don't know distance and they have no clue where Monroe College is, give them some help, give them some background information as to where Monroe, what parish Monroe is in, as in comparison to where St. Thomas is in the East, next to Kingston and
So,
Portland.
so Monroe College is located on the peak of the Santa Cruz Mountains. That's in St. Elizabeth, right? I think it's the only high school that's located on the peak of a mountain, spanning over 150 acres.
Wow.
It's 100 plus miles from um, from St. Thomas. So St. Thomas is far east, Monroe is far west, right beside Westmoreland thereabout. Just to give you context. And I mean, I tell
Yes.
everybody every day, if you go to Monroe and you don't learn, it's because you tried hard not to learn. Because there's absolutely nothing preventing you. There are no distractions. You're on the peak of a mountain. But the only thing you can do is play football, play tennis, play sports. But at the same time, how the school is designed, you have structured time for study, mandatory study every evening after supper, and also on weekends. So you really have no choice
On
but to get
weekends.
involved and to do your work. Yeah, you have study time on weekends. You have Saturdays in the mornings, and then on Sundays we have chapel. We have church on Sundays in the Sunday morning. So you have study period in the afternoons. So you have no choice. You have to do your work. You know.
That really shaped your,
Yes.
your discipline.
Yes. Yes. I like that.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Wow.
mean, you have no choice. You're on your own, but at the same time, there's strict rules. You have to conform. Again, it made me better. You know, I can go on. Monroe's opened a lot of doors for me. I'm forever indebted and forever grateful to that institution. It has done so much for me and for others throughout the world.
Yeah, like Tunde Sam, because I mean, again, when we met Tunde at that event, your aunt so boastfully, said, "Yeah, that's my nephew," because he was so gleeful when he heard your name and saw the connection.
Yes.
So, I mean, as far as your mom, you did say your mom said, you know what, that was the best decision you made. Can you imagine going from no way? You're not going to the country. I mean, you're my baby boy. I mean, and I can't blame her.
Yes.
But look at you today. So, I mean, was there a defining moment, Eric, that in your youth when you realized that leadership was your part or your calling? I mean, this was your calling. This is what you were meant to do, be a leader.
So from a tender age, I went to Mornby Preparatory School, and I was deputy head boy and then head boy there.
Oh, boy.
But at that time, I still wasn't setting any goals or standards. Remember, my prep school teacher said to my mom that Eric does not set standards. He goes into a class. He said, "All right, better than him, better than him, better than him. You can't beat me, and I'm fine." And that's the truth. In reflection, that's the truth. So I became head boy. Went to Monroe, 2001. At that time, still, I was not really looking forward to anything in terms of leadership. I was just trying to have fun and settle in really, learning new things, meeting new people. How I got involved, my first time representing Monroe was to the 4-H club. And to be honest, I went to the computer lab to play games. I got caught. But by the time when I got caught, he was asking, who wants to do circumposing and potting? I was not part of the club. And I got caught. I said, me, miss, to tell a distraction. Um, and it started from there. Because after that, I became president of 4-H Club, Environmental Club. But that defining moment of where I started to believe in myself as a leader, it came through a teacher who became my mentor, my defender, my confidant, my friend, who sadly passed away in 2019 to breast cancer.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry.
she showed me what I was not seeing in myself. Alcia Morgan Brownfield, former principal of William Memorial High School. She showed me what I was not seeing in myself. I wrote a story in fourth form about lion and tigers in chasing me in Holland Bamboo, and she came to class and she said, "Oh, we never at McDonald's." And I was so proud. I said, "Me, miss, it's a boy in a ramp with me. Door ramp with me." she said, "Oh, what did she give me? Listen to me, fix it." And she said, "Get back to me." And that was the opening because she took me in as family, and from there on, she brought me in United Nations. She brought me in national schools debate. I used to debate in high school. Um, you know, the level of confidence that woman placed in me. I was wondering what she was seeing, Tourism Action Club, whatever there was, whatever opportunity there was. She was like, "Eric, she never asked. She said, "Eric, you're doing this. Eric, you're doing this." And that was it. And once she said, I'm like, "Fine, we're doing this." And that was the defining moment. From there, and my first time, National Secondary Student Council, I gave a speech to run for Assistant Vice President of Region 5. I lost bitterly. I got one vote. I'm not forgetting it. One vote I got that year. Only Monroe voted for me. But I was shaking like a leaf on that platform. I remember then director for the National Center for Youth Development, Ogina Blake, he was there. Stay calm, take your time, blah, blah, blah. But I was shaking, I was nervous, and then from there, I started going to different opportunities by the government, like doing the summer to National Secondary Students Council, dealing with personal development, public speaking, building your confidence, capacity building, really. So that was really, I started looking and said, you know what, I can do something. And that's where I think my journey in leadership really started.
How old were you there then at that time, would you say?
I
What
was in
age?
the ninth grade, so probably
Oh,
about what, 15, 14,
15.
15, thereabout.
14, 15, yeah.
Yeah, 14, 15, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
thereabout.
So, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Yes. And
So,
the story
were you
saved my
ever,
life, really.
yeah, did you ever get any pushback? Were you ever called, like I called you at the beginning, smarty pants? Was there any pressure and pushback when you were the smart one, the leader one, the one that the teacher would call upon, I'm supposing?
No, I mean, I went to all boys school. Obviously, people would, but it's toughness, after being there for a while. Smart comments, it doesn't, I mean, it's a part of growing up, it's a part of the process, but I had never experienced a case where I was bullied or I was taunted or, I was really pressured. I think the
That's good.
environment of Monroe was, yes, we would laugh at each other, but at the same time, we support each other. When one person won, the whole school was winning. That,
Yeah.
that was the idea behind it.
Yeah.
So I know when I went out to do national schools debate, they were looking forward to coming back to hear that you won or whatever you're doing. They will laugh at you quietly, but at the same time, they're happy for you. And that's what brotherhood is about. That's what it's
Yes.
really about. So it was more of a supportive environment. They wanted to do well because knowing you, we're in the same dorm, we're in the same class, they felt some sense of pride and accomplishment for your success. And I feel the same for my friends as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let me ask you, you represented Jamaica in major leadership spaces from the United Nations to the Commonwealth. How did those experiences really change your worldview as a young man?
When those roles came along, um, it was surprising because my first time in New York, was going to United Nations. You see these things on TV and all that, and the General Assembly, you're wondering like, is this for real? But when it came to Commonwealth, what I found interesting was myself and a young lady by the name of Kamisha Turner. At that time, we were selected. I remember when the House of Parliament called me. I thought it was a prank. I thought it was a prank, and my friend at the time, my friend said, "Call them back, call them back." When I called back, did the interview, and I was selected along with her. I think I was the only person there who never had a first degree because when I sat there and everybody was introducing themselves, bachelor's of degree in economics and international relations, da, 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 I just had a few CAPE units. So I felt privileged. I felt honored, to be in that space. And it gave me exposure. It showed me that there's more to life than what you see around you. There's something else out there. And it motivated me to go for more, don't settle for less. The world is out there. There are new things to try. There are new people to meet. You can be whatever you want to be. And I mean, I was humbled by it, and I think it was a great privilege to represent my country.
Yeah, I mean, you really were able to be shaped. I think as you were talking about your school, your parents, of course, those teachers that really made sure that they whipped you into shape there, right? I'm noticing to me that there's not a lot of discipline in the schools. Maybe it's just the individuals, discipline maybe with the teachers, but I don't see discipline and accountability being the primary core focus in educating our young folks. How do you think that's impacting society today?
You're right, Sharon, because discipline, like she said, and respect.
Respecting of the teachers.
Yes.
Eric, I had an instance where one of my children made a comment to the other sibling and said, "Oh, the teacher had to put down her phone today because the principal was coming in." And she said, "Oh man, I got to teach today."
Really? That's interesting.
But speaking
Wow.
from my standpoint, I think modeling has a lot to do with it. So, for example, like today at a meeting, and they were saying one of my better qualities is that I'm always calm. Remain calm. You have to understand that things have changed. We're in the 21st century, the era of social media, where kids are exposed to different cultures, different things, and they take back things from it. Sometimes on the positive thing. And as an educator, you have to remain calm. You have to, of course, understand at times it's an eye for an eye, because an eye for an eye, then the world is blind. And it's about bringing kids to a level to understand that you're not here to push back or to fight, but I'm here to help. You know, what I think I boast about every year, I tell my kids that I have never been rude to a student. Even if you're rude to me, I'm not going to go and be rude to you because that's adding fuel to the fire. And as time progresses, that first month will be rough, but as time progresses, they get to understand that, listen, this man is not here to fight. He's here to help. He wants the best for me. At the same time, I try to expose them to new things because sometimes all they need to see is something different. You don't know what their home life is like, what their circumstances are like. That initial interaction may be just like a pushback. They're fighting back, until they realize you're for them, then you get a change. That's how I see it. But again, it's about adapting and being flexible and finding new ways, new means, of
Yeah.
doing things.
And you're an educator, Eric. I mean, what made you decide that's my path? That's where I want to be. I want to teach students, and especially high school students. What age group? What does? Because we need more men in that space.
This is
I
true.
commend you for that.
This is true.
I'm so honored to know that you're one of those who decided. Because you could be anywhere else, Eric. You could be doing the possibilities with your qualifications. Okay, you didn't have to stop to educate people's children, but you decided to make a sacrifice to do that. Speak to that.
And if I'm being honest with you, if you asked me this probably 14 years ago, 15 years ago, and you say educate, I would say absolutely not. The truth is, I wanted to work in international relations, right? I love that, being exposed to United Nations. I wanted to do that, as well as I wanted to become involved in politics, right? That would be my calling. Yeah. When I was leaving UWI, my same teacher, Elsie Morgan Brownfield, she called and she said, "Hey, we got a 4-month opening here. Do you have a job?" She said, "I said no. So do the 4 months." I came in, started just 4 months. During the 4 months, I'm like, you know what? Let me do a year. Complete the year. But the thing about education, you see, once you get involved,
Yeah.
you're going to build relationships. You're going to
Yeah.
build bonds. And I mean, when you work hard at the end of the year, for one kid to say thank you, or to
Yeah.
know that you
Yes.
someone who was written off before and then you played a role in having that child to become a success story, it
Yeah.
does something to you that money cannot, that
Yeah.
little bit of joy and fulfillment, you know. Um, on the side, I was still very much interested in politics. I'm trying my best to hate it, and I'm trying to shake it. I'm trying, but I don't think I can. I think one of my turning points in politics when I started to become involved in it, and then I realized that politics is a very cold place. Yeah, it's a very cold place, a selfish place. When you sit, you're in it, and you look. The moment you have nothing to offer, or if you fall in hard times, you're thrown to the curb, and no one cares about you anymore.
Wow.
That's a big risk you have when you throw yourself in the public service in that space.
Yeah.
You have to understand if it does not work, you have used all your resources. When you're no longer viable, you don't have what a party may want. You're then thrown to the curb, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're on your face. And a lot of those who go into it, and the whole cliche, I'm in it for the people and to make things better and blah blah blah, all the fancy things. You realize that it's for a paycheck in many instances. What they offer is not true. It's really
Yeah.
self-serving instead of giving back.
Giving. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still fighting it,
Oftentimes.
but I mean, it's a part of me that I cannot
Yeah.
shake off. So I try not
Well,
to look at it, but I'm fighting. I'm
there may
You're
fighting.
be a
you're still
place.
young.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
There,
You're
there
still
may be a
young.
place.
You're still
You know,
young.
I
I'm
understand because
fighting, but
sometimes in
it is
politics.
beginning.
Sometimes in politics, you really can't be your authentic self. We're getting ready to go on a break, but I'd really like to ask you this one question as we get ready to go on break. Have you ever had a student who completely changed your perspective and on teaching or membership? Like you said, that one student that told you thank you. I remember the first time a client said, "Wow, you changed my life." That feeling. Can you think of a story or of a student that really touched your heart to make you say, you know what?
I'm in the right place.
Every year, every year. You're always going to find that one kid that, when you hear their story, because after building relationships, kids open up to you. And,
Yes.
I remember back in North Carolina, I had a kid. Um, he's now in the military. And I would see him every day in school. Before I taught him every day, Jamaicans has full face makeup on him, face puff up on, I'm like, what's his problem? And I had him, and he came to the class, and he would not talk. And so I'm like, what's my approach? Because he wanted a confrontation, not because he wanted to fight, but because he's hurting, you know.
Yes.
And when I heard his real story, and I got him on a level, and I saw him graduate recently. He talked to me on Facebook, and some of the things I would say in class, you repeat to me. And I think I would say to him that, focus on the bread. And that's about, focus on your goal, focus on what is important to you. And whenever I talk to him, you always end our conversation with that line, focus on the bread. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's a touching story, I think, and I'm very proud of him for what he has accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you.
Wow.
So sit tight. We got more questions and want to hear more about this leader, all right, and this future politician. So we're going into a commercial break. You two family, Speak Harmony will be right back.
Yes,
This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, APAP Media Group. APAP Media Group is a full-service creative video and photo production company specializing in podcasting, multi-camera recording, and live streaming. Contact them by email at info@apapmedia.com. That's info@apapmedia.com. Thank you to our sponsor, APAP Media Group.
Upcoming events, man. Atlanta, this place it's always jumping. We always got something going on right here in the A. So, on May 31st, which is only a short few days, the Architect of Memory is what's taking place right here. The keynote speaker, by the way, will be Cheryl Herron, MD, Professor, Emergency Medicine, and Associate Dean at Emory School of Medicine. This all takes place at Georgia Caribbean American Heritage. That's the coalition that's taking this to a different level, taking us all to a different level here. They're the ones presenting this event. So it's going to be at the Holy Cross Episcopal Church right at 2005 South Columbia Place, Decatur, Georgia. Again, it's May 31st at 12 noon. Be there. Put that on your calendar. Mark your calendars. You don't want to miss that. And we've got TREAD. Educational Services, which is where Community Restore, that youth camp will be held. It's this coming June 1st through the 5th. It's a week long. But they have got stuff like, for the students, anywhere from 12 to 18, we've got different events, financial literacy, customer service, entrepreneurship, photography, culinary arts, agriculture, carpentry, makeup. Artists will be there to showcase themselves and teach your students, your young minds, shape them. 1 week can make a difference to your young people. Guys, sign up. It's Community Restore. And if you go online and look up Community Restore in partnership with TREAD, TREAD Educational Services, you'll find them right there. It's $50 for each participant. But let me tell you, it will be well worth it. Okay, you can call them at 470-440-1340. Again, it's 470-440-1340. It's Community Restore alongside TREAD. Okay, and then we've got the Atlanta Jamaican Association Independence Ball, which will be August 8th, and that would be at the Evergreen Hotel at Stone Mountain Park. Our keynote speaker, the Sonia Richards Ross, okay, our Jamaican American Olympian, famous lady in that space. I mean, amazing. You want to buy your tickets now because you're getting the discounts up until June 30th. The tickets go up after June 30th, so get your tickets right now. Secure them because this sister, she's amazing. You don't want to miss this whole event, and they do an amazing job. Guys, the Jamaican Independence Ball, August 8th. Thank you so much.
All right.
Well, wow. Welcome back.
And that takes us right back into the sports part of what you do. We talked about the academics, but you are also a coach, huh, Sharon? All right, Eric. So, you were talking a lot about leadership and discipline, and I can see where playing soccer and coaching soccer, where a lot of those attributes you get in that sport. and I'm sure you get a whole lot more. So how do you use coaching and soccer and that discipline in your classroom?
So one of the reasons why I started coaching in the US was to really, as a part of classroom management, because when kids see you outside of class and you're in their personal space doing things that they love and you have an advice to offer, you can make them better. It's a ripple effect because they're going to tell their friends and their friends tell their friends about you. And even those you don't teach before they get to you, they have this notion of what you're like, and already your standards have been established. So, for example, when I started coaching in North Carolina, that first year, um, the rising freshmen, by the time they were in my class, they already knew who I was by name, knew what I stood for. So things were seamless. And again,
Oh,
you find that kids don't want to disappoint. You're helping them outside to achieve their goals out on the outside academics. They don't want to disappoint you. And you find by so doing, it plays a very critical role in classroom management. It makes your work easier, to be honest.
Yeah. Wow. So, Eric, I'm going to ask you some questions here. I'm going to start with this one. Chalkboard or smartboard? Which would you
Whoa.
say? Choice. Smartboard or
Oh, Lord.
chalkboard?
Can I say both?
Yes, you can. Yes, you
So
can.
personally, I don't like writing, but at the same time, I see the value of it, of both really. Because sometimes I do go old school. Sometimes I do go
Yes.
old school because especially where schools are stressing literacy and so on, you have to go old school sometimes.
And I'm going to answer the next question for you. Strict teacher or cool teacher? Because you've got to be the epitome of cool teacher. But I know I know there's discipline in there. And how do you balance that though? Because I know just what I heard you said I'm in a classroom and I'm teaching, but then on the field out there playing soccer, pretty much not your equal, but you're cool.
So I wouldn't say cool because cool gives a negative person like you make anything fly. It's about, so for example, I try my best to remain calm. I think one of my strengths is remaining calm. Not much ruffles my feathers. I mean, I won't say I've seen it all, but I've seen a lot, right? It's about that balance. Kids have to understand yet that you love, you appreciate them, but at the same time, they know the line not to cross. I'm a jovial person. I love to laugh, but we're gonna laugh. But at the same time, we have to know when it's time for work. It's time for work. When it's time for play, it's time
Boundaries.
for play, and boundaries. And you have to be consistent. It can't be today you're like this and tomorrow because they'll take it for granted. You have to be consistent. And I don't argue. We're not arguing. We're not going to argue.
okay. So what life lessons can sports teach that are not in textbooks?
Sports is reality. It shows you. It gives you the practical version of it. In the class, we can say, listen, if you don't do your work, you're going to fail. That's theory. If you go on the field, you don't put the work in, you don't put the training, you don't have the discipline, the determination, the drive, the passion, right? You will fail. And I always tell my kids, I look at kids in Jamaica who are running for scholarships, so doing track or soccer. They understand that this is their only way out to get that platform to elevate their lives. So you find they're going to work hard in practice because they understand that this is the real life, right? And that's what sports does. You're gonna get hurt. You'll be knocked down, but you're gonna fight back. You're gonna bounce back. You're gonna come back and be better than you were before. So in the classroom, it's theory, but sports, it's reality. You're living through the emotions. You're feeling the pain. You're tasting defeat. You're tasting disappointment. At the same time, you're tasting success. It's more tangible.
Interesting.
Got it.
So, in your experience, Eric, what causes many young men, would you say, to lose direction? Because with this young man that you led to that space, I mean, he was a screw face. In other words, for those of you who don't understand a screw face, he was just too serious. He was just, whatever life was throwing at him, he was internalizing everything and it showed up on his face. And you turned that young man around. So, what would you say, in your experience, what causes these young men to lose direction?
I think it's an open secret that the social fabric of society have been eroded due to a breakdown in the family. And I think that's where it starts. We have a lot of homes where there are absentee fathers, a lot of homes where there is not a lot of structure in it. And I think that is a key part. And I share my story that my father never had opportunity I had. I remember growing up, he would always say to us that, you know, I can give you wealth. What I can provide for you is a good education. That's all I can do for you. And then you can elevate yourself. I remember I was at Monroe, um, and in the third form, I was chilling. I had everything I needed. Now, mind you, I'm going to schools where the kids are politicians and the rich people, in, yes? Um, and I had everything that they had because my parents ensured, not to be left out. They worked very hard, but I wasn't seeing the background work of what was going in, the sacrifices that they were making for me to be comfortable. I remember my third form, I got a very bad report, and that was the longest drive I ever had from St. Elizabeth to St. Thomas. My father said not a word. We never stopped with Rosiam and Saltfish and Melrose Hill. We drove straight home. He was driving very slow, and I'm like, what is he thinking? Lord God, me dead now because he's spending a lot of money. You know,
Yeah.
he never said a. He opened the report card, looked at it. He never said a word. We drove straight home very slowly. And the next morning, he woke up and said, put on some clothes, look up on the road. Got in the car, he never said a thing. And I'm like, no, this is it, really scary. What's going to happen now? And he drove me to what you call the landfill in St. Thomas, right? The parish dump, right? And when he took me there, we went and I saw everybody there knew him. And I saw a young baby with her mother. That baby is a couple of days old. I saw people rummaging through the trash. I saw pigs in the trash, we call it junk, everybody, rummage. A truck came in and everybody rushed towards it. And I was trying to understand it. And he said to me that, you see, them, that was me. That's the life I know. My life can't get no worse. If life will get bad, I can go back. This is what I know. My dream was to have a house and a land, and I have it. You don't know this. You can't handle this. Yes? Choose your destiny. And that is something from that. That's my turning point in high school, where I said, you know. And the moral of the story is, you have a father in your life, and he's not afraid to show you what is wrong, what life can be, what you have, and what you can become, and what you need to do. Many homes don't have that. You understand? And so they gravitate to what they think is love, what they think is leadership, what they think is attractive. And in many instances, what is attractive is negative. Negativity sells,
Wow.
like scandalous news. It sells. Everybody gravitate toward it. So what the life that is being portrayed, that they think is ideal, that they think is cool, they're going to move towards it because there is somebody there to show them and guide them,
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah, that was a beautiful story,
I like that, of
and we give
course.
thanks. That was a wonderful lesson and analogy. I know
Yeah.
you cannot unsee what you saw there.
That is correct.
No,
That
no.
is
Yeah,
correct.
and that was just like a guiding light,
Yeah. Yeah. And the blessing about that, Eric, is that you pretty much encapsulated, what the whole question, because what it is that there are a lot of young men and women who did not have the opportunity. So you might not have had the wealth, like you said, about like those children,
Yeah.
those fortunate children that you went to school with at Monroe, whose parents were politicians and famous people and what have you. But that
Yeah.
that wasn't even relevant. I mean, what you had was a household of love and parents who pushed and made sure you had
Yes.
had what they didn't have.
Yes.
They provided for you.
That's
And
That's
I
very
will
true.
say
I'm
this,
Monroe.
Erica, I love it.
My best friend at Monroe was even in life today, and Andrew Bell. He's from Trelawney. His mom was a teacher, single parent, right? And how we operated, whatever we had, we shared. So if my parents gave me 3,000, and his parents gave him 2,500, I'm giving him 5, so it balance out. Whatever we had,
Oh,
we shared. We both understood our financial situation. We both understand the struggle that our parents were going through at the time, and we both were involved in. We did very well in high school. I started playing hockey because of him, really. right? And then he became a part of the debate team because of me. Um, so we know what we're about, you know. We knew we had no money to go and flaunt, so we had to use what we had, you know. What you know, he was at sports and I was at talk. So debating,
Politician.
tourism,
Debater.
yeah, pretty much. You know,
And you
my
were
I
a
can't tell you,
politician, by the way. You were a
yes, back
politician,
then.
somewhat of a politician. Give us a little pinch of that. You know, tell the folks a little bit about that part, because you were a politician of sorts, not a full-fledged politician, but you were a youth politician. Speak on that.
Yes. So, yeah. So back then. So I became involved in junior parish councils. All right. My first year going, teacher David Thomas, he brought me along really, and I was at the meeting. They were selecting officers, and they had appointed me junior superintendent of roads and works. I liked it, and I said, I'm coming back next year. Went back the following year as junior council for Malvern, that's in St. Elizabeth, and they chose about five students to go for junior mayor. So I was the last one to be selected because at the time they were saying, "Oh, give somebody except Monroe, somebody else except Monroe." That was what talk. And the senior council advocated, and I was selected. So I went up there. And the moment I got up there, two students came back down. They said, "Get the Monroe boys, sir," and they sat back down. So we had to, you know, clear our case, and I was successful at that. So I was junior mayor of Black River, I think, in 2007. Following that, I was selected to be a part of National Youth Parliament, where I was, I think, junior minister of telecommunications and somebody to that effect. And I presented in Gordon House. In fact, just to bring it back full circle, the whole idea that whole line I gave about our social fabric in the road is something I said in National Junior Parliament from 2007. And why I bring this back, because instead of getting better, it continuously is getting worse, right? So the thing new. So I was involved junior in that, and through that, that's how I got the chance to go to England for Commonwealth Day, where I was in the same room as the Queen. You know, so imagine at 18, you know, you're in
And
we're,
you,
we're at a reception at Marlborough House. I remember we were standing there, and she stopped and she asked a question. Kamisha Turner responded to her, and the Duke of Edinburgh, the husband, he said to us that it seems that London is being overrun by Jamaicans. Because
oh,
yeah, I won't forget it. But for me, you know, it was I mean, you're in the presence of the Queen. She's directly in front of you. That was a big thing back then. I remember my high school friends. It was a big thing for them. You know, just for me, Queen. That's a big thing for them.
Yeah. I mean, royalty.
So
All right.
yes.
Well,
But
if she
yes,
didn't knight you, we
we
knight
knighted.
you.
That's it. And he was knighted because you know we don't have a whole podcast to really to do
Oh, the many
to cover
things.
everything that you've done.
yeah,
I mean, it takes
yeah,
another two podcasts to get to
yeah.
cover to scratch the surface of Eric McDonald, because
and
you've moved on and done some great stuff, Eric.
and
Prime
and to
Minister,
add to
National
that as
Youth.
well. I'll get into that. To add to that as well, I was a PRO for the National Secondary Students Council.
What is that?
That was where, you know. So
What's the
National Secondary Students
PRO?
Council, a public relations officer. So my job was to do press releases and so on. That was a national position. So you got four national positions. I got one of them, and again, it was very difficult. We never had cell phones back then. So imagine schools across Jamaica to be voting for you. You know, it was a very difficult. It had been all my friends who know somebody at that school and that school, talking to that person, you know, so that was very good. So I went on to UWI, and one thing that UWI taught me was humility, because I left
And for
Monroe at
those
the
who don't
time.
know what Yui is, I mean, explain to them Yui. In Jamaica, we know,
Oh,
but what's Yui?
the University of the West Indies Mona campus. So I went
Thank
on
you,
to
sir.
UWI to study for international relations. And again, it's a humbling experience. Leaving Monroe, you know, you were junior mayor, you were junior tourism minister, and all that type of stuff. You're on a high, and I entered Chancellor Hall. Yeah. So to give context, people like Dr. Christopher Tufton, TJ Patterson, um, Dr. Andrew Holness, and so on. All these guys were at Chancellor rights, right? So in the Chancellor Hall, and that was a humbling experience because Chancellor taught us the importance of understanding Not, it doesn't matter where you're from or who you are, you're just a human. And it stresses the idea of brotherhood. So that brought me back down to ground zero, right? So I got into UA, and I ran for election in my first year. At the end of first year, I ran for the Guild of Students. I had no intention. I was enjoying college life. I remember one of my friends from Monroe, Ibrahim Conte. We were walking to the union, and he said to me, "Casper, what you run for?" So run for what? We are talking about. So I said, "Guild election." I said, "Bridging." He said, "No, you have to look at the positions, find something that you're interested in. You have to run." And my friends were like, "Yes, he's running." So I ran for external affairs chairman for the guild. They deal with all outreach activities on behalf of the Guild of Students. That year, we hosted back to school treat. We partnered with Guiding Light Charities that year. Hosted a massive back to school treat in August Town with the whole project. We did about 2 or 3 street feeding programs throughout Kingston and so on. Very good year. Then that year after I was nominated, someone nominated for Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Service. I got a call from the OPM and said, you were nominated for this. However, we see it best that you should be shifted to leadership. I'm like, okay, because in my mind, when I come, I probably never expect none of this. I wasn't looking forward to be honest with that. And even when I got shortlisted, I went to the interview. I still wasn't, looking forward. Like, okay, I was going through the motions. Like, all right. And then there was something happened that year where we never got the award ceremony, and there was a change of government. So I totally forgot about it. So when they called me, I think Lisa Hanna was now minister at the time, and they called me and said, "Listen, we're having the function at Emancipation Park." I said to myself, "I'm not going to win. I'm not going." The day before, I have 2 sisters. You see, I have 3 sisters, but the 2 bigger sisters, listen, my biggest cheerleaders. So one of them got wind and said, "I got Prime Minister Youth Award." So I'm like, "No," and them give it to me. I'm a mother. They called everybody, and then they said to
You're
me, I
going.
won't forget. They said to me, "It's not about you, It's about us."
It's about us.
Oh,
Absolutely. That's right.
the family.
About we.
Of course,
Yeah,
of
it's about the
course.
family, not about you.
So
So I
you,
went not knowing how to get it because you're a nominee. Then I
yeah.
went and I got it. And listen, them screaming, knock pot covers, a big deal for them. You can't smile for the people on TV, So they can't get
Exactly.
it when they customer to the stage. So you
Of course,
can't smile.
that's family. That's family.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it seems as though you've been a winner, a winner, 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 and I'm still gonna call you smarty pants. How do you teach your students, your athletes, about handling failure and disappointment?
To win, you have to fail. That's the first thing about it. Everybody
Nice.
Nice, nice.
you have to
Nice. Yes.
because it's a reminder. And my life personally, nothing I have has ever come easy. It's always got a rocky road. And what it teaches you is to appreciate things. Is to appreciate,
Yeah.
So when you go there and you get sixth love or you came last in the race, it's not permanent because failure is not permanent. You can fix it. But that humility
That's
you
good.
get, that pain you get, the suffering you get from it, it should
That's
ignite a
good.
fire inside that I don't want to feel that anymore. And to not feel it anymore, you have to put the work in
You did.
to make
Yeah.
yourself better.
Yeah.
That's a lesson.
Yeah.
When I look, I mean, I took over this program at Central High School in Macon. It's my second year. When I got here, the year before they won 0 games, right? Yes, it was a uphill task, but in a background challenge. So my first year was about let's win a couple of games. We did, and then this year we made the state playoffs, something we have not done in 20 odd years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So and again,
Congratulations.
that is a step in the right direction, and
Yeah.
we're going to go hard again next year. They're excited about it because they never believe it could be done, but they stuck to the task, and we're planning already. They're excited. We're planning already to see what happens next year.
Wow.
And as we wind down,
Yeah.
Eric, I'm going to ask you. So, do you believe leadership is it born, taught, or developed through hardship?
I think that I don't want to say it's boring because some may say are boring. I don't necessarily think so because Usain Bolt was born with talent, but had it not been for Glenn Mills to shape that talent, he would just be another athlete. Yeah, it's something that you have to develop. You may be born with a particular talent if you don't have the guidance, right? Someone to show you, or somebody knows more than you, someone to pull that out of you, it will never come out. So it's something I think it's more of a learned behavior, right? Because you may have those who may be written off, so you're not born with it, but they may be able to develop it. So that's where it comes from, really. I think you have to have someone to hone your skills, someone the
Yeah.
knowledge to guide. You're going to fail. It's
Yeah.
a part of it. You're going to fail, and I give that talk to my kids. They have some failing moments, but it's a part of it. We're going to bounce back. We're going to go forward. That's how life is. So my life view is I don't sit, if I go to the doctor, I don't come and tell me what can happen and tell me, oh, this can lead to that. What I'm here for, this is my situation. Give me a solution. How do we fix it? Don't scare me and say this I got happen and that I got happen. How can we fix it? And that's how I view life. I'm not interested in looking at anybody can see all the faults. What could have, what should have. Tell me what we can do. What can be done? What's the plan going forward? Instead of laboring and on stuck in on one spot, because that fixes nothing. That fixes nothing. And that's how I live my life. It's about what's a solution? Give me a solution. How can we work it out?
Yeah.
What gives you hope for the future, though, Eric? Because right now, as it stands, it seems like there are more homes without male figures, especially in our community. And as a representation of the leaders that we want in our youth, I mean, you are that epitome of leadership, Eric. When I met you, I saw that. And I spoke to your aunt, by the way, and I said to her, who in the world is he? And she goes, that's my nephew. Because I heard your speech. I heard you deliver that speech, and you were so cool and easygoing, but you've got to, I see that, oh man, people are blowing up our chat right here. They're saying, please like and, yes, please like and share, guys. Okay, and all the St. Thomas natives are blowing up. They're bigging you up, right?
Yeah, man.
You know how
Big up,
patriotic.
Big up,
Yalas. Okay, and what is that?
Yalas, yeah,
Wash,
man.
wash something like that. I can see. Wash hands. Ask. Okay.
Got
So, listen, you're the hottest item right now on the Speak Harmony podcast, Eric. That's all I'm going to tell you, because you have given hope to so many. And if there's one word that you would share with students who have graduated and are graduating, young men especially, or young men in our society who feel, you know what, dad left home. We didn't have a dad like Eric's who gave him a choice. There's the straight road and the narrow road. I mean, what would you say because I mean, you're that example, but what would you say to those students who don't have the father figure, the father that you had and the father that you are? Because I know you're an amazing dad as well and a father figure to these students. What would you say to those students who just feel like, hey, it's only me and my mom or whoever, I don't care? What encouragement would you give to them?
Believe and be hopeful. I mean, you may never achieve the perfect scenario what you want to achieve, but again, hope will save us or save who you once were. I always tell them, don't play the cards you want, play the cards you are dealt. The first thing is accepting your
Say
situation.
that again. Say that again. Repeat that one. I love that.
Oh.
Repeat that.
Don't play the cards you want, play the cards you are dealt. It is what it is, but it's not what it may become. Yeah, it's about believing, understanding my circumstances, and understanding that you alone can change it. If you sit, you whine, you complain, the world is not a nice place. That's the reality. It's not a nice place. You have to fight for what you want. Nobody will give you. That's the reality. Nobody is obligated to give you anything. It's up to you, right?
Yeah.
Do what you can. May not be perfect, but if every day you can be better than who you were the day before, that is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And understand
Absolutely.
again, to build, you have to start from ground up. If you build from top down, it's going to crumble. So while you're going through the struggle, while it looks impossible, while others may laugh at you, while others may jeer you, ignore it and keep pressing on. My mother can tell you that about me. She's just someone having a shame, in the sense that I don't walk around saying I'm Eric T. McDonald.
Yeah.
I'm just Eric, right?
Yeah.
And as long as it's about in my life, my family life, or helping somebody, it matters to me not. I don't go into a room trying to impose myself and who I'm this person,
Yeah.
because
I
at the end of
love
the day,
it.
it means nothing to me. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm just Eric. If I can help, I'm going to help. Humility is key. My parents, I think, big up parents, I mean, matter than exactly big up because
Oh, that's
they
right.
Wow, love
they
it.
they are individuals who never had the opportunity that I have, and they work hard to make
Yeah.
sure that all their children had what they needed. Yeah, the sacrifices,
Yeah.
nothing was never too good for us. If it means they had to go without it, they're going to go without it. Yeah. And again, family are close, but family is very important. And I think I am the product of a good family. It wasn't perfect, but if I could choose, I'll choose them again. There's always somebody to help, my grandparents,
Yeah.
my aunts, uncles. But in my immediate family, my brother, okay, my brother is the most altruistic person I know. Yeah. My brother, when I was in college and my parents went through hard time, everything I wanted was my brother. He never said no. Even to this day, if I ask my brother Dale for something, it's never no. If him not have it, him not telling no. I'm not gonna try and get it. How you know him not have
Wow.
it is the fact that you're not getting it immediately. But
Immediately.
he's not. My brother has never told me no. Anything at all I need, yeah, I'm gonna get it. It doesn't matter what it takes. He's gonna let me have it. Even though my son begs sometimes, normally I get it. My sisters are the same thing. I used to call my sister the teacher. I used to call her once a month, the 25th of each month. But I paid it.
Pity.
As I try living on the money. And she said, Rick, don't call my phone. And then she come back. I sent $3,000 for you.
She already know.
Sister Charlotte, it's the same thing. They know. But once I see them, they know I want something, and the mark go on tough. But I
That's
know I'm getting. Once
beautiful.
them vex, don't come before. I text them come in. I send this to you. I resend it. Don't come back. And my little sister, same thing. When I was at Monroe, she was at Hampton, and I guess what I did to my older siblings, she did to me. Because I remember the nights where I have to drive to Mandeville to find some weird item for her to do some food and nutrition, whatever the case may be. Or she always broke. She always and my money. And then of course I but I give it, but now I say no to her. So my brother and sister and I we're very close knit. My parents
Yeah.
know there are no secrets. You tell one person something and say don't tell nobody, the whole of it.
Everybody have
Everybody
a
know.
know.
Everybody
The
know.
whole of it.
So what's the best
And
advice?
I said don't tell nobody.
So let me ask you, Eric, what's one advice that any mentor, your mentor really, you've ever received from a mentor? What's that best advice would you say? Because we're winding
Stop
down and we
complaining.
want
Stop
Stop complaining. Got it.
stop
Nobody's
complaining. Oh, nobody's listening.
Nobody's
Jesus.
listening.
It
Absolutely.
sounds hard.
Wow.
It sounds
Wow.
hard. My father told me that I used to complain a lot. I used to always on excuse, and I'm always complaining. And that was in third form. And he said to me, "Stop complaining. Nobody now listen." And I'm like, it's hard, but it's reality because we spend so much time complaining, not realizing that we could have found a solution we're complaining about.
Exactly. My mother-in-law
Don't
tells us that
complain.
all the
But
time. Yeah.
the truth is, we are complaining for what's not gonna change nothing.
Whatever you complain, somebody
when I
can
was-
tap that story.
Yes.
When I was I was at Monroe, I remember one of my students, he's now a dentist, right?
Wow.
And he said
Wow.
to me one day, he's a dentist, yeah. He said to me one day, he got my number and he said, "Sir Mark,
Wow.
in the morning, you always say to us, what would be your biggest one who said, make sure you could have done that."
Oh, you're a
I
little
tried to
frozen
explain
there.
to the individual, maybe-
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess the electronics already know that we're getting ready to wind down. We're definitely
Man.
going to ask you to stay on even after the show
Yeah.
ends. So please make sure you stay on, Eric. Thank you so
Wow.
much for you imparting such wonderful wisdom.
Yes.
Teaching us what leadership is, teaching us what service is, teaching us what discipline is.
Stick to it, isn't it? Yes. In Jamaica. Stick to it.
You see and feel the passion that
course.
he has.
And pouring it back into the next
community.
generation.
I mean, this, when you say we got a wonderful young man, he is definitely the example.
You are. If we could just clone you, Eric, and we're planning to do that.
So Eric, please stand by as we get ready to close out. So Speak Harmony family, we hope that you really, really enjoyed this session. We did.
We did.
Did you?
Oh, I did.
mean, it's time to go. We just had a great show.
So much into me.
Oh my gosh, I love the analogies. I love how he stays calm and really
and humble.
And humble, so
That's
humble.
The humility. I
Yes.
mean, I saw the humility
Yeah.
the day I met him.
Yeah.
I looked at him and I thought,
And I hope these young parents take a page out of his book, And so, Speak Harmony family, we invite you to comment and make suggestions. And thank you to the ones who have made comments this session here, this particular episode. Thanks again to our guest, once again, Eric McDonald, and to our sponsor, APAP Media Group.
And to our in-house guests.
And our in-house guests, we thank those who come through. Big up Mr. P and Son Damien for producing this particular podcast. We will see you next Tuesday right here on YouTube.
Same time, same
7
place.
p to 7 a. And until then.
Oh, no, 7 p to 7 p.
Oh.
8 p. So we got
7 p.m., not the a.m. But you can check us out at 7 a.m. on the reruns, sure.
There you go.
So until then, keep speak harmony. Keep speaking harmony into your life. We'll see you soon. And Sharon, don't forget to what?
We like, subscribe, and share again, because we've got powerful people on this platform. Big ups.
They talk about health, they talk about care, sharing tips, they got us without a care. Thank you for listening, you're the best. See you next week to keep the best. Together we learn, together we grow. There'll be lesson every hour, we know. See you next week with more stories to tell. More wisdom, more smiles, we can't